Welcome to the PlayStation Administration Podcast. Today we have a very nostalgia-fueled episode, and joining me is the always philosophical Pickle. How you doing, man?
You know what, dude? I'm doing good. I recently just played some Ratchet and Clank, and I'm ready to talk about it.
Nice. I mean, yep, that's what this whole episode's about here is could be talking about Ratchet and Clank series that's been with me since I really got into playing video games and stuff like that. I don't know if you can remember how old you were when you played the first game or where you were, but just to remind you, Ratchet and Clank came out in 2002. And I think I remember playing it like 2002, 2003. It was like one of those games I got for PS2 immediately because I was a kid during that time, and I think my mom was like, that's the kiddie one you could play. And then you realize how deep the fucking game is, and you get sucked into the series for life. So yeah, what were you?
Yeah, so I was 7 in 2002. My dad bought it new. I remember it was one of the first games that I truly fell in love with and like made me love gaming. Like I had a 64. I played Smash Bros, some Zelda, but like Ratchet and Clank was the first one where I was like, whoa, I love video games. Like, video games can be this cool, this deep, this exciting, man. Yeah, it's my all-time favorite series. I was,
because it was one of those like first games that I actually got into the story of what was happening in the game. Like I remember, like I would play games just to like the violence, and then Ratchet and Clank had that too. It gets you in with the weapons and stuff like that, but then you realize there's this whole narrative going on in the back. And they're making a bunch of jokes that you don't quite understand because you're like, 7 and 8. And then as you play the game later in life, you actually start to get a lot of the jokes that were happening in the game. And
yeah,
I have a lot of fun.
Like it's like lots of explosions, but then you're like, wait, they're talking like it's like they're making jokes about capitalism and like advertisements and these gun manufacturers and like everybody has an ad on everything and these corporations. It's like stuff that you don't really get when you're a kid. And like video games don't really do that anymore. Like at least maybe one a year, but like no video games like make fun of corporations as much as Ratchet and Clank.
Dude, straight up, it's like a total like parody on capitalism. The whole game, like, like the only way to progress. I'm gonna have to edit that shit. All right, the only way to progress in Ratchet and Clank is to actually like pay people. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to.
Yeah, it's like you want this good gun? Yeah. Give me 10,000 bolts.
Yeah, that's the only way to like rank up or get like any experience is just pay for it. I think that's like a huge commentary on capitalism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious when you get older and think about it. But yeah, when I was playing it as a kid, like. I don't think I remember beating like the final boss when I was a kid. It took me like years later to actually beat it because the game is also challenging. Like it is a kid's game, but like it's got some challenge to it. It's
hard when you're 10 or when you're 7, like I was. Like, dude, I didn't know I would walk with the left stick. I didn't know to turn the right stick to turn the camera. And my dad was like, turn the right stick. And I was like, I just want to move with the left stick. Like, I didn't even get that concept of that was the game that taught me that the right stick controlled a camera.
Yeah. Taught you all your basic game functions, I mean, if you mastered Ratchet and Clank, you could pretty much play any other game. Like, that's a third person, open world, like action adventure. Like, all the mechanics are really coming from Ratchet and Clank. Because before this era of PS2, I forget when the N64 came out and stuff, because like that's when 3D worlds were like made in games and stuff like that. And if you Ratchet and Clank is just a great template for how to make a game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, yes.
Yeah, but
the 64 came out in 1996.
96.
I know Super Mario 64 was the first 3D game, but yeah, Ratchet and Clank kind of took something. It's like when a great movie is made, like Citizen Kane, that like does something first, but then another movie just does it better, and you evolve. Like Ratchet and Clank was that. It wasn't the first 3D platformer, but it might be the best. Yeah,
and it's certainly an early 3D platformer. Like I think the other ones that came out at the same time was like stuff like Jak and Daxter. And
which I also love.
Yeah, and Spyro, of course, was before this, but like, those are very basic platforming games, which I love a lot too. I'm totally into those games as well, but not as much as Ratchet and Clank. And I think we're gonna go through like the list here of Ratchet and Clank games. Maybe talk about every game for a few minutes and stuff like that, and we'll see how far we get. So the first Ratchet and Clank game, this is, I would think, this is the starting point for most of us hardcore Ratchet and Clank fans. But the whole series actually is a lot different than this first game, because you can't even strafe in the first game. You can't run side to side in the first game, which becomes a huge staple of the franchise in the very next game, and then onwards for the rest of the games. Like, if a Ratchet and Clank doesn't have strafing, it's not a Ratchet and Clank game.
Oh yeah, the strafing's so sweet.
The first game is the exception, just because I can't get over like how good that first game is. It kind of lets me down a little bit with the remake. Even though the remake has a bunch of it has a bunch of great gameplay stuff in the remake, I still think it's like a great actual game. But the first Ratchet and Clank game, I don't think nothing beats like the characters in that. I just love the way Captain Quark was in the original game, and Drake, the villain, which had a dope voice. I don't know why they didn't bring back that voice actor. I don't know what happened.
I know they brought in Paul Giamatti to do him.
Yeah, to do the remake.
In the remake, which is I love Paul Giamatti, but he had such a good voice in the original game. It was deep and really you feared him.
It was funny too because he was small. What was that?
But the first game also, you couldn't when you would hold triangle to pull up the weapons menu, it didn't freeze the screen, so you could get hit while you pulled up your weapons, and also your weapons didn't upgrade. That wasn't introduced to the next game. So the first game still had some rough gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, they didn't figure it out.
Great building block.
Yeah, it was a great first step. I mean, they don't smooth. I don't think they smoothed it out completely till Up Your Arsenal. I think that's the game where it's completely polished. They don't need to change anything about Ratchet and Clank for the rest of the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'll get into what my favorite one is later.
Yeah, I think I remember what you said. Your favorite one was so. We should be coming up on it, right?
We are.
We should be coming up on it. But, the first Ratchet and Clank game, lots of fun. Great levels. Do you remember a specific level you liked the most from that game? What was your favorite part as well?
I like the level where you're it's the factory where you're going to fight Quark, and there's the turrets come up, and there's barbed wire, and it's really dark, and the sky is red. What level is that?
I'm looking it up right now as you were talking here.
It's towards the end, it's like the something factory, and it was really challenging as a kid. That one really sticks out to me as a fun one, a really challenging one, and the level just looked different. But my favorite level in the game is definitely the level where the guys are chopping down the trees.
Oh yeah.
What was that one called? Is it Navalis?
I could have swore it was Navalis or Kerwin or something.
See, the levels kind of escape my mind, but that level, that was the most fun one to play, because had so much personality with them, with the chainsaws chopping down the tree, and they would use them to hit you. It was a beautiful green lush planet with blues and greens and browns. The level design was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Navalis was the second planet.
Okay,
that was the one with the bees. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Logging site. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, that must be.
That's what it was called? Site. I don't know. But
when they're chopping down the trees and stuff on that planet?
Yeah, that was my favorite level from the first game.
Whatever it's called.
Because that's where you meet the plumber, you get to jump down. That was the first level where you get to take multiple paths too. You can go behind you and go up the steps into the factory, or you can go down on that platform, jump in the water, you get to fight the robots. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, that level was just revolutionary to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing about this first Ratchet and Clank game is that all the levels had different branching paths that would circle around, back to the start. A lot of them, and the one where they're chopping down the trees. Huge Ratchet and Clank fans probably know the exact level we're talking about. If we just mention a little detail. Loggers and chopping down trees, they know exactly what level. But that level starts where there's a bridge, you pull up the bridge, right, to connect it, and you can go on this path that leads you to the suck gun that sucks up enemies and shoots them. That path is completely optional. You can go the whole game without going on that path. That weapon is, you don't need it to beat the game. Which is, hilarious that, most people go down that path first, and they think it's, the main path when you're playing the game. But the actual main path is behind you, and you go find the lieutenant robot dude that has a cigar in his mouth, and he runs away when you find him. He runs away from Clank or something.
And dude, it was like but I'm trying to think of a video game before that just gave you so many weapons.
Right?
Because most games you had 4 or 5 different weapons, machine guns, pistols, or like a sword, but like there was never a game that you get a flamethrower, a pistol, a fucking rocket launcher, a gun that can shoot you into a sheep, it sucks up enemies and shoots it out, a bomb glove, a force field. Like no game has ever given you this many options. Mm-hmm. Like that was fantastic as a kid, and it blew my mind. Yeah, like all of these guns.
Yeah, I mean, like, the closest thing I could think of is, like, Grand Theft Auto. Like, when you put in a cheat code and you get all the guns. I think that's, like, one of the closest things I compare to getting, like...
Yeah, but it still doesn't even come close.
Yeah, I know, because the weapons are fun in Ratchet and Clank.
Dude, the commercials for the video game back in the day. Remember those?
Classics.
Oh, my God. I wish they would do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, it looks like just like a regular commercial for, like, Walmart or something. Like, a guy is, like, mowing his lawn. Then he pulls out a huge gun, like, destroys his neighbor's car. It's like, wait. I want to buy whatever this is. Like... Genius marketing. Yeah,
I didn't even know what the hell the game was, but they were hilarious. The one with the guy with the decoy glove, and he puts on the lawnmower or like something, and it roams into the street, and the mom hits it and thinks she actually killed her kid or something. And she's like,
dude, dude, some amazing commercials.
Yeah. Dude, some fucked up commercials when you think about it.
I mean, one guy like turned to like his neighbor into a sheep or something, and he was like, "Sorry," like walked away. He's like, "Buy Ratchet and Clank and turn people into sheep."
But that guy's a sheep forever.
Yeah, that was the dark humor, dude. The dark humor of like it's a kids game, but there are some deeper themes in there. There are some fart jokes. There are some couple dick jokes. Like
lots of dick jokes. Actually, every game is actually some kind of sex joke. When you look at the titles.
Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, Full Frontal Assault. Yeah.
Size Matters, A Crack at Time, Quest for Booty, Tools of Destruction. I think the only Rift Apart, I guess could be like a fart joke as well.
Yeah, I guess. I hope the next game has more of an innuendo.
Yeah, they got to. First Ratchet and Clank game. And what can you say about it? It's great. It's great. It's where they first meet. I personally like the relationship between Ratchet and Clank in that first game. I like how Ratchet's an asshole to him. Like, because they don't know each other, right? Like, they just met each other. Why would they be best friends,
Yeah. And they make Ratchet, like, nicer through the next games. They change his voice actor. But, dude, like, when at the very end, like, the whole game, he just wants to get off the planet. He wants to do the shit. And then, like, at the end of the game, like when Clank's arm is ripped off and he thinks that Ratchet's like walking away from him and he's like, come on, let's go fix that arm. And they're finally friends. Like you feel it. It's so good.
Yeah. Because you went through the whole game of like them constantly like bickering at each other almost, Ratchet like, constantly putting down like Clank, and they would have moments where they come together and stuff. So that moment where he's walking away from Clank with the broken arm and stuff, I was like, what the fuck is Ratchet doing right now? Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about the first game is the freaking score. Dude, like, the scores for the first 3 games, like, I wish they would get back to that, because in Rift Apart, there are, like, 2 songs where there's, like, a... Like, it's kind of, like, sci-fi crazy, but it's not even close to the original score.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. I think my personal favorite soundtrack is probably Up Your Arsenal, just for the Britney Gears, that song.
Oh my god, dude. That is a great boss fight.
Oh yeah, dude, it's great.
Yeah. When you're fighting all of her backup dancers, that's a great fight.
Soundtrack alone. I love it. First game's awesome. So next game, 2003. Going Commando. This is where the series kind of solidified itself as one of the best platformer shooters you can get, and they added strafe. Now the story's so much I don't really am too attached to this story. I think Up Your Arsenal is where I really got into it, but Larry Fizzwidget was the bad guy in Going Commando. Like, and that's a deep cut for some Ratchet and Clank fans out there.
Mr. Fizzwidget, aka Captain Quark.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't even wearing a mask or something.
Great villain.
Yeah, great villain.
Dude, the proto pets.
Yeah.
Fizzwood, dude. You continue, then I'll tell you about my experience with that game.
Yeah, well, yeah. I played this game when it came out in 2003, so I was also, little when I played this. And Fizzwood starts the game as like the good guy and stuff. And I remember the twist happening and being like, "What?" like just being blown away.
Me too.
Yeah, but you look back on it, it is kind of telegraphed when you go back and replay the game, and you look at how Fizzwood's acting and stuff like that. It's it's clearly like he's up to something, and
you also hear that it's the same voice actor, just kind of changing his voice a little bit.
Yeah, I forget the voice actor's name. I just read about him too, because apparently something happened to him. I think he has Alzheimer's or something like that. Something happened, but
does he voice Cork in the newer games?
I could have swore. Is it Jim Ward?
I don't know. I don't know any of the voice actors' names. He's Cork to me, whoever he is. Cork, Fizzwidget, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Jim Ward. Oh, that's going to drive me crazy, because I don't have an acting list on here. Voice cast, boom. Yeah, Jim Ward, Fizzwidget, Cork, Jim Ward, yes.
Cool.
So, but yeah.
Well, man, I hope he's doing well.
He's not.
I want to tell you something about the Rift Apart, but I don't want to give you any spoilers.
Let's save Rift Apart for the end, because I want to try to not do spoilers. I still haven't played it yet. I know I'm dying to play.
I don't want to give you any spoilers. There's just one section of the game where I can.
Yeah,
I can't even say anything.
You can probably tell me, and I'll forget about it. But because by the time I play this game, it's gonna be like a year later.
Yeah,
they even showing ads for it on this thing.
But dude, Going Commando is not only my favorite Ratchet and Clank game, it is my favorite video game of all time.
All time.
My all-time favorite game. Like you get one more game to play before you pass away. I am picking Ratchet and Clank Going Commando all day.
And look at some of these review scores when it came out. Like we're talking 9s. You know what I'm saying? Across the board. What's the Metacritic? 90. That's really good.
Shit, it needs more.
I know, but I don't even think Red Dead has a 90. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so like, if you get 90 or above, you're doing really good. And like most of these early Ratchet and Clank games all got these type of scores. 9s out of 10s, 10 out of 10s. These were very well made games. Yeah, man. What's your favorite part about Going Commando, though? What makes it your favorite game out of the series?
Man, I think it nailed everything about Ratchet and Clank. It is what Ratchet and Clank is. The kooky characters. I think the guns were better. It introduced strafing. It introduced leveling up the guns. Just the way that it shows your gun leveling up with that. It's like this big event every time your gun levels up. You feel like you earned it. The impact of it. The casino planet. The ice planet, the swamp planet, dude, they're all the planets. The opening level when you're on the ship and you're like fighting the robots.
Yeah.
It didn't it introduce the bouncer as well?
I want to say it did.
Because the bouncer, that gun that shoots that bomb, and the nuke bomb gun. Like, dude, so many guns. The characters, the way that they're like they're kind of like lazing around. It's like they're like looking for a new adventure, and they're like celebrities at the beginning of it, or they're not celebrities, but they're kind of bored or whatever, like playing video games. They get sucked back into it. Dude, it introduced like the whole thing of where you got to like find crystals and then you get money for it. The whole desert scene. Dude, just the gameplay.
Crystals. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's become a staple.
Dude, that it introduced that, and then like the whole commentary about the proto pets, like the government or somebody, a corporation lying to you, like this is a cute cuddly pet, but it will really eat you or kill you. Mm-hmm. It kind of parallels like companies lying to you about your water or just like other things in life.
Yeah. And
I just think that every single element it nailed, and I think Up Your Arsenal goes a little too much into just straightforward shooting. I think Going Commando had the perfect amount of, underwater, over water, jumping, shooting, platforming, everything. Perfect game. And I love that game as well. Going Commando. Because that's where it's like, all right, we're gonna play every Ratchet and Clank game for the rest of my life after you play Going Commando. Especially if they're like that, and that every other game after this tries to emulate this gameplay style that's in this game. And when you think about the leveling up of the guns, like
that stuff really wasn't in games back then. Like 2003, like specifically experience was leveling up your guns across the board and stuff like that. That was the way you upgraded in the game. Now I want to say there wasn't too many games back then that were doing that. Now it's in every game. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like it has to be in your game or else it's not a video game. You know?
Yeah, I can't think of any games back then. I mean, I was young, but I can't think of many that like you upgraded, like even your level, like your health didn't really upgrade, but like it gave you a reason to keep playing.
Yeah.
Like if it's like, this game's getting kind of stale. Well, my gun's not upgraded yet. Let me play for 30 more minutes. Let me upgrade it. And it gives you a reason.
By the time you end the game, you're still not maxed out on your weapons too.
It gives you a reason to play the game again, especially the newer games because they go up 5 levels. Then you buy them again for the second time, get them up to 10. Like you can play the game through 3 times before you get all the guns up to level 10.
Yeah. And that's part of that formula that they pretty much perfected by the time Going Commando comes out and stuff. But yeah, I remember going through that ship level and just being blown away because I was like, I liked war and stuff growing up. I don't know about you, but I always looked up history of like military stuff and like
no, not me.
Battles and stuff like that. I was weird. I was a weird kid. Watched a lot of war battles. I was like, wow, these planes blowing up buildings are pretty cool.
Weird kid.
Yeah, and that military vibe is what I got from like Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like you were a super soldier. You know?
I mean, it was the first game where Ratchet wore armor.
Yeah, and I like that. Like they kept the armor as far as the series goes and stuff like that. And I think the only game they don't have it is Size Matters, maybe, after this. But what more can we say about Going Commando? The crystal level, that was dope when you had to collect the crystals and stuff like that. That was like a smaller version of what they do now in every game. When they give you that big collectathon level. They have it, I think, in every game since, not All for One, not for Full Frontal Assault, but, every mainline game, they have something like that. Anyway. I know.
I said my piece on Going Commando. I mean, it's my favorite game of all time. I think it's not okay. Nothing's perfect. There are some things I would fix, but like, man, for what it is, it's a perfect game to me. Yeah. Best Ratchet and Clank game, I think, by far. Yeah,
it was one of those games where I really started to get into the lore too, because it starts off on that level at where you go to the Gadgetron, the old Gadgetron HQ, which is like now been taken over by Plant Life, right? That's the game where that happens, right?
Yeah, it's the first level after you get off that ship.
Yeah, and I remember that stuff blowing my mind. Like, all right, we like you set up this whole company in the last game, and now it's just like, oh, it's the next evolution. The next company is taken over because no company lasts forever and shit like that.
Yeah,
and I like that detail that they kept bringing back and stuff like that. Let's go on to unless you want to mention anything else from this game. I mean, the only other stuff that we really haven't talked about so far in these first 2 Ratchet and Clank games is Clank's stuff. Which I don't know about you, but that stuff is the most forgettable from the whole series. Is any Clank mission? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, can we get back to Ratchet? It's like
so I'll say this right now. It'll a blanket statement for every game. Yeah. Maybe sometimes they're worse, but like every time it cuts away to Clank and you got to do a Clank mission, I'm like, I'm with you. Let's get back to Ratchet. Let's get back to shooting. Like it's cool for maybe like a couple minutes. Yeah. But when it goes on a little too long sometimes, and there's a little too much of it. Did the first game have like Clank missions? Yeah, you have to do the mind control and the little robots, and you got to get them to like kill an enemy or something like that for you to progress. Yeah, those are the worst parts of the game. Yeah, they are the most forgettable because they are very tedious puzzles, really, when it comes down to it. Like, it's not so much that, like, oh, you can't figure this out. It's just like, oh, I got to go back and get the robot that I just used to kill that thing. You got to go back to the original spot where he was. It's just a... I mean, it does kind of encourage kids to use their brain to solve puzzles. And, there aren't many of them that are like, I can't do it. Yeah. But you're playing for like 3 hours, just shooting shit, jumping around, you're getting the groove of it, and then it's like, okay, solve this puzzle with these robots where you have to go back and get different ones and with different powers. It kind of halts the flow of the game. like when you're really into it. But I mean, I don't mind it.
Well, yeah, but to Insomniac's credit, the development team that made all these Ratchet and Clank game, they always tried to make like a next like different variation of the Clank missions, like because in Going Commando, that's where you get like the bridge bots, and they can actually morph into different robots to help you finish puzzles and stuff. And eventually, like in other games, Clank becomes an entirely different type of puzzle, that you have to figure out.
Freaking Going Commando is when Clank gets huge and you fight on that. You fight on the movie set, that you fight on that planet. You fight that one guy and you fight like you're on Clank's back. That's a great Clank mission. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, smashing buildings like Godzilla. Like that's some of the most fun I have with Clank. I think A Crack at Time did the best though with Clank, as far as the puzzles they did in that game.
The time puzzles where you're like the different colors, like red, green, blue, like because you're in Clank in different times. Yeah, that was good. Because
you're like, oh, this is easy, and then you get to like the last one, you're like, what the fuck?
They are the hardest ones out of the whole series. The Crack in Time, Clank time puzzles. I think those are the hardest.
I was so proud of myself when I figured it out. Like without the internet, I was like, oh my god. Mind you, I think I was in like high school when A Crack in Time. I might have been in middle school or something. I don't know. When Crack in Time came out,
or I played it in high school.
Yeah,
but I played it like a couple years after it came out because I didn't have a PS3 for a while.
2009. Yeah, I was in high school. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, man. But yeah, Going Commando. Anything else? I mean, great game.
Yep.
It really got me into the lore. And Up Your Arsenal, I think, is the next year, which is another amazing thing about the series. Look at the games every year. This does not happen anymore. Like,
dude,
it takes like 4 or 5 years to make a game sometimes now. Like,
yeah, that is like people who don't understand like the process of making a video game, in a year is insane.
And
like it's like it doesn't happen. It's almost impossible. And they made the first trilogy in 3 years. Yeah. That is insane, and they're amazing.
Yeah, they're totally well executed games that don't really have that many bugs. The bugs in the game are actually famous. Like in the first game, there's the hoverboard race where you can glitch onto the racetrack and you can grind for bolts to get the rhino. That's a legendary glitch, and it's almost in there purposefully to like save you time on getting bolts, And I feel like the same thing could be said for like some other games. It's almost like the glitches, like they knew where the glitches were. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then you like occasionally fall through the map. Yeah, that's the only other glitch I can think. Like sometimes you fall through the map.
Yeah,
and you just have to like like load your last save.
And you remember the first time you ever got to the Insomniac Museum in one of these games? You thought like the museum was like a special thing hidden in the game. Because,
yes,
you could only get it after you beat, I think, the game. I want to say you can only get it after you beat challenge mode sometimes.
I'm trying to think. I did not discover it until years after I played, because I played it when I was 7 or 8. Yeah. I probably didn't discover that until my 6th or 7th playthrough when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I personally discovered the museum. My dad did, but I didn't find it until I got the PS3 like trilogy remaster or whatever.
Yeah, and usually the museum's like it's nothing. It's just behind the scenes stuff, but it always felt pretty cool. It felt like you were like discovering something, like a hidden thing in the game.
But yeah, dude, I completely forgot that you mentioned the hoverboard, and then in the second game the bike racing.
Yeah.
With like that gang that they turn. You think they're like these badasses. They turn out they're like, you're hurting my feelings, dude. Like, they made a great racing game inside of a great shooting and platforming game. Like, I could do those hoverboard races all day. Like, I wanted to just keep doing them and keep doing them. Yeah. And I think that in Going Commando, the biking race is even better than the hoverboard.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, because the hoverboard's a little rudimentary. But, like, I don't know if you played the HD collection, but there's actually, like, a trophy for getting a certain time on the hoverboard race.
Wait, is the HD collection the PS3?
Yeah, the PS3 HD.
Yes.
Yeah, of the original trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, I played that a lot.
Yeah.
I wish they would give another one for like PS4, PS5 because I want to. Yeah. I want to play the original trilogy again.
Yeah, in 4K.
Yeah.
That's my one. You know what I wish they do? I wish they just remake the game, but not like the 2016. Just literally like take the exact game and just put a new coat of paint on it. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
like that's what we want. Like seriously, like I thought that was what because they said that the 2016 one was going to be a remake, and you're like, oh, they're just doing it again with today's graphics. And then some of the levels are the same, but they tied it into the movie, and we'll get into it. But yeah, I want a complete frame by frame dialogue. Even keep the same dialogue from the original.
Yeah,
just make it PS5 graphics.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, 2004. These games came out back to back years, and in 2005, Deadlock and Going Commando came out. So they got a separate company to make their first mobile game on phones. But yeah, that's 4 straight years of a mainline Ratchet game, Ratchet and Clank game. Insanity. But Up Your Arsenal introduced Dr. Nefarious, a staple of the series. From now on, he's one of the main villains that keeps coming back. And Up Your Arsenal is where he's introduced. Up Your Arsenal was a lot of people's first Ratchet and Clank game too. When you look at the sales figures for it and stuff, that's one of their big ones. A lot of people tout it as the best one. I like it a lot. I like the shooting and stuff. I like Dr. Nefarious. Some of the soundtrack is dope. Courtney Gears. It's Courtney Gears, not Brittany Gears. It's got to be Courtney Gears. Yeah. That soundtrack alone is a banner. But yeah, lots of fun with that game. What are your thoughts on it?
So as a kid, it was my favorite game. Absolutely. That was because it was the most fun to play. I don't know. I think it just had an energy that Going Commando didn't have. But replaying,
it felt like a
was it?
game.
Yeah, that's longer. But replaying it, the HD collection, I found that Going Commando was my favorite. But this game is right behind it. Yeah. It's right behind it on my list, dude. This game is amazing. It also just introduced new weapons like the whip, the plasma whip. I wrote down some of my favorite weapons here. Dude, the bouncer, the Zodiac, the Seeker, the Buzzblades, the Visibomb, the Shock Blaster, the Plasma Whip, the Warmonger, the Sheepinator. These are some of my favorite guns. I don't know how many of those were in the third game, but it starts off. You go to that jungle planet. You got to survive those obstacles. Then you find out Quark is this ape man who's an idiot now, and you got to save him. And, you're recruiting a team to go on this mission on this big ship. I loved the Quark mini games. You go to the holo deck or whatever, and you put a video game in, and you played that side scroller where you're Quark. As a kid, that was my favorite part of the game as a kid. I loved beating those because it was a game inside of a game. They introduced a lot more stuff, but yeah, I think that I also like the what are the Terranoids? What are the three-eyed villains? The three-eyed aliens.
Let's go with Terranoids. Let's go with
Terranoids, Telenoids, something like that. I think they're one of the coolest aliens designs that they did. I loved killing those bastards. But there were some arenas where it's just waves of the aliens come and you shoot them. I think they took out some of the platforming, so for that reason, I think it's not as good as Going Commando, but it's still a fucking masterpiece in my eyes, right behind Going Commando.
Yeah, and Up Your Arsenal, the arenas were one of the things they were polished up in Up Your Arsenal a lot, and they actually did so well in that game that they made an entire game just based off arenas for Ratchet Deadlock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, the arenas were amazing. Yeah. I keep forgetting about these amazing elements in this game. And I was so disappointed that the 2016 remake didn't have the arena. I was like, what are you doing? This is one of the staples of the game.
I know, right? I mean, there was a lot.
I know that the first one didn't have an arena, but come on, dude. It's 2016.
They were remaking the game anyway, though. You're right. They should just put an arena in there, because you're already changing so much about what they did in the first game. You might as well add the best shit,
Do you want to know if there's an arena in the new game?
Sure. Yes or no? Just a yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. All right. All right. Sweet.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Just I got to give you some hope in life.
I know, something to look forward to.
Dude, that cover of Ratchet and Clank just screams my childhood.
Right.
I looked at that cover, putting it in my PS2 just hundreds of times. Love that cover.
Yeah, and it had an online feature. I wonder what the hell that online feature was.
Oh, dude, I'd never played online, but my neighbor, he would come over and we would play. They had like an online where you would like fight each other and you could shoot each other, like Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, like a 1v1 deathmatch, and we would play offline. But you could like choose what character: Quark, Ratchet, the monkey, a robot, a snowman. Pick the color of the uniform they wear, and you just like you fight each other.
Yeah, I never got to play online stuff for PS2 because I never had the adapter for like the online stuff. You know, I just had a base model PS2. I still have it actually. It still works. You know, that's back when they built fucking consoles that just worked. Really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it lasted. Yeah, they had death matches and stuff like that. That's pretty dope. I think Ratchet Deadlock had the same thing, but yeah, I never got to play those back in the day.
But what do you think about the game inside of the game, the Quark mini games where he's fighting Nefarious?
Yeah, dude, I love the little games they had there. Dude, I'm glad they kept it back. They kept those for some other games. My favorite one in the whole series is the Crack of Time one, where again you're playing some Quark like top down like arcadey game. That was dope. But yeah, I enjoyed the Quark game they had in Up Your Arsenal, the side scrolling arcade game. Because it's a game inside of itself. Like you could just go to the Up Your Arsenal game and just play that game all day. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to play the rest of the Ratchet and Clank game. You just go and play the arcade game that's inside of Ratchet and Clank.
And dude, I'm not a completionist when it comes to like getting all of the trophies like you are.
Yeah.
But I have to get every box, every bolt, every like in Crash Bandicoot, every apple, everything. I have to get everything on the screen. So like those Quark games, if I would miss one of those little tokens with a lightning bolt, I would have to go back and redo it. Like, how can you play a Ratchet and Clank game and just run past a crate and not hit it?
Exactly.
You are a I don't know. You're an evil person if you do that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's an addiction hitting crates and stuff. And like, they actually have a specific formula. I was watching these guys from Insomniac talk about the formula they have for stacking crates. In Ratchet and Clank, there's a specific code they have for just stacking crates. They can only be a certain diameter. There can only be so many stacked a certain way, and like, it's there's so much detail put into just the crates. You gotta love it. Yeah, gotta.
And there's like nothing better in Ratchet and Clank than when you're like going through a level, you see a little slot on the side, you go to it, and then you just see like a stack of 40 crates. You're like, okay, here we go. You just hit it, boom, boom, boom. You just like thousands of bolts are coming to you. It's just such a great feeling because like you are like just the little details. We don't even think about it. You are visually seeing yourself getting the money. Yeah. Like in most games, you don't see that. The money doesn't get sucked into you. And that ring, ding, 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 like the noise, like every single thing in this game, it rewards you for playing.
Yeah, and you think about it now, like that's back in what 2003 or 4. Like they figured out how to make an addicting sound with the coins and stuff like that. And if you notice, there's a lot of stuff on your phones now that have like those same kind of like ringtones, or like when you get a text message, your phone will make a certain sound that's like getting a coin at Ratchet and Clank. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be a sound that triggers a dopamine hit in your head. That's what it's like designed to do.
It does.
Yeah, and it does. I'm a bolt whore. I will get all the goddamn bolts that I see in that game. Yeah, I'll even smash the lamps to get the fucking bolts.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Lamps, chairs, bars, tables,
anything
railings.
That can be broken. I will break it.
Dude, on that casino planet and going Commando, there's so much stuff that you don't think will give you bolts, but they do.
Yeah.
Like almost everything in that place you can break.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
And it's still not enough bolts for the Rhino. Like it's still not enough. You gotta play the game like 2-3 times.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for Up Your Arsenal. Love Dr. Nefarious.
He's so funny.
Great as well. So the next game after that was Ratchet Deadlock. Did you play that one? I played that one like crazy. I love the combat in that one. I love that they focused it on Ratchet and Clank and stuff. And they just completely got rid of Clank, actually. They completely got rid of Clank. And they just focused on Ratchet. Yeah.
So, to be honest, I don't love this game. I have all the games ranked. It's the last one on the list.
Wow.
I got a couple as a kid, I rented it from Movie Gallery. Back when Movie Gallery was a thing. And when I was a kid, I was the next Ratchet game. It looked awesome. The cover, he was like wearing this armor and this badass battlefield. And then I rented it, and like he got separated from Clank. There wasn't as much platforming. I wasn't ready for what it was. I didn't understand it was going to be a different game. So as a kid, I didn't like it. Now, as an adult, I love the concept of him getting kidnapped to put in this fucking game for the universe to watch. Yeah. And I want to replay it if I can ever get my hands on it on a console. But no, I played it for like 4 days, didn't love it, and don't have much to say about it.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people have that same type of feeling because it really isn't like a mainline Ratchet and Clank game. I mean, you don't have to play it at all to understand what's going on in the universe and stuff like that. It is just like a little one-off story there. But still, I love the gun combat in the game, and in this game they just double down on that. And like that's the whole game. It's just the gun combat. Yeah, there's no platforming and stuff. They just dabble in arenas and stuff like that. That's all they really have. But the announcers I thought were hilarious. They would they would always say like these little side comments in the game that I thought were really hilarious. But yeah, I mean, you can only do so much in that game. It's really not even a long game either because you just go arena to arena and then that's the end of the game really. I think I want to say there's like 5 or 6 different arenas or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the other games, the announcers, every time you would go to an arena to fight, they would be like, and introducing this guy. He's probably going to die. Like, they would always just shit on Ratchet. Yeah. And, like,
don't get out for the writing was folks. So funny. He'll be dead soon.
Yep.
It's great shit.
Yeah, I wish I had more to say about it, but I don't know. I never liked it as a kid. Didn't get into it.
But yeah, definitely a lot of fun if you like the gunplay. Just if you're just in for Ratchet and Clank for just the gunplay, I highly recommend Deadlock to get your fucking fix. You know what I'm saying? To just get your fix on that. If you like collecting bolts and stuff, it's probably not the game for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the next game after that was the going mobile for phones. I never played that. Insomniac didn't make it. So fuck that game. I don't consider it a Ratchet game. I'm surprised it's even on the wiki. Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. It was made by High Impact, which made PSP games. But they actually worked with Insomniac and Insomniac helped them a lot. Size Matters is a mainline Ratchet game. Like it fits into the series and everything.
I never played it.
You never played it because you can never touch PSP for the longest time. Eventually, they did make a port for PS2. I want to say I have it somewhere. I don't know. I was an idiot. Let's stop everything. I was an idiot back in the day when PS3 came out, and I sold all my PS2 games off to get like a PS3 and like a few games. That was really stupid. It's probably the dumbest thing I ever did in my life.
I know what you mean. My dad and we sold our PS2 at a garage sale, all the games. Like, I regret it. I wish I had my PS2 because it was in good condition. We just needed money, I guess.
Yeah. Not only was my console in good condition, but all my games were in good condition. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like one of those kids that took care of like the boxes and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, yeah. I wish I had my original Ratchet and Clank game from 2002, man. I regret selling it as well.
It came with a poster, too.
Yes, the book on the inside, it would fold out, and it was like all the weapons. Yeah. With like Ratchet sitting in front of it, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it was dope. Like dude, you know how much that's worth now? We could probably look up how much that's worth.
I have no idea.
I bet it's worth a good penny. I bet it's worth more than $60. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I sold it for like pennies on the dollar, really.
Like $5.
Yeah, dude. But I had every Ratchet game, even this one, The Size Matters. I found a PS2 copy of it. I don't know why I didn't keep it, because the PS2 version is actually pretty rare. Like, it's some bullshit.
So like after the like when the PSP came out, like the PS3 was coming. After PS2, I got an Xbox 360, and I got into Gears of War, Halo, and I didn't have a PS3 for like almost the whole lifespan. I graduated high school. I had some extra cash, and I bought a PS3 because I saw that the Ratchet and Clank, the HD remaster was on there. So I was like, oh, dude, I want to play Ratchet and Clank again. What am I doing with an Xbox? Yeah. I got a PS3, got it, but yeah, my PS3 broke as well. Yeah. It broke. Like I got a used PS3. It sucked. But yeah, I regret giving all that away.
Yeah. So, this is a warning to all the people out there getting physical copies of stuff. Don't sell it. don't sell it because they stop printing this stuff and the prices will go up on it.
I mean, unless you're literally like on the street, you have to eat tonight or feed your kids.
You got to get your heroin.
But if you don't have to feed your kids, keep the games that you love. Yes.
Yes, definitely. So Ratchet and Clank Size Matters and Secret Agent Clank were both the PSP games. I played them both. I like Size Matters. I think it's a fine Ratchet game, It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't do anything new. It's kind of like a DLC story, you know what I'm saying? A lot like Quest for Booty. So, it's a short little game. It's fun. A Secret Agent Clank, it's a one long Clank mission. I wasn't a big fan of it. I wasn't a big fan of it. Some people like it, though, in the series. I don't know why. Some people do. But yeah, those are the PSP games, but in 2007, this is when we went to PS3, and Insomniac made a Ratchet and Clank game for PS3 called Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. And I don't know about you, but this is probably my favorite, time for Ratchet and Clank as far as like, playing the more modern games and stuff like that. This is one of my favorite like little trilogies that they made. What did you think about this? Did you play this trilogy?
So what's the full trilogy? I can't see the screen.
Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, and then it's Quest for Booty and A Crack in Time. This is called the Future Trilogy. Yeah.
So wait, A Quest for Booty counts as a whole game?
Oh yeah, even though that game's only I think 2 to 4 hours long. Not even like.
Okay, like I said, I haven't played that one. So, but like I said, I got to these games late because I got to them years because I graduated in 2013. When did these games come out? 2007, 8,
7, 8, and 9. So back to back years.
Yeah. So I got it in 2013, and I immediately got the games and then the HD trilogy. So I didn't play them when they came out. Mm. But I was like, dude, what am I doing? Like, there are Ratchet and Clank games for the PS3. Like, what am I doing with my life? Mm. Got it, and I absolutely loved it. I love Tools of Destruction. I can't remember like the guns and the levels as much because I've only played that one twice, which I usually play each game like 5 or 6 times. But I remember like the villain is that alien guy who like hates Lombaxes. And I remember, dude, his in battle was like really hard for some reason. I don't know why. Mm. But I mean, I really love that game. It's one of the lesser ones on my list. It's like halfway down, but it's still really great. Mm. And I thought like it did some good classic Ratchet things with adding some new elements. But it's one of the least memorable ones to me. But if I played it again, I would be like, okay, this is great.
I want to say Tools of Destruction introduced Mr. Zircon. I want to say introduced him because the games before that had different variations on Mr. Zircon.
Yeah, it had like that, just like the death robots.
Yeah, but I think
you're right. It did Zircon, and it introduced like that. Was that the one where you get on that platform and then you could like fly with the wings on your back?
Yes, and you used the 6-axis on the controller.
Which was kind of like hard. I remember that. Yeah.
You could actually switch it in the menus to just your analog sticks.
Wasn't that the first game? Was that the first game where they kind of alluded to the fact that Lombaxes were like special at one point, and like Ratchet was kind of?
It's the game where they introduced the fact that Ratchet is the last Lombax, like he's the only one in the galaxy or something like that, because they all were in a different dimension or something like that. They're from a different like plane of existence that Tachyon is from in that game. And it's the whole like chosen one thing, Ratchet's the last one of his kind, chosen one type stuff. I was surprised to see a lot of people didn't like that idea when I was looking up like people's thoughts about the Future series and stuff like that. I was surprised to see that people were not liking this whole idea that Ratchet is the last Lombax of his kind. Because in the original trilogy, they introduced like another like female character that's a Lombax, I guess, that has ears and stuff. So like they're almost real confused about that.
They kind of just retcon her and never talk about her again. Like, so I don't know if like what's canon and what's not.
Yeah.
What was her name? Sasha?
Entirely.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was something. I forget her name too, but yeah, it could be a different reality entirely. The Future series. It could be like.
I mean, I will admit that I liked in the first game that you're this guy, a Lombax. You don't know what it is, but he's just a guy with a wrench. Yeah. He's like just fixing up his ship. He's a simple man. it did get kind of futuristic. Like even like the design of his wrench has become super futuristic looking, and I mean we'll get to that in a crack of time. But yeah, I like the old classic Ratchet look and feel and story a little bit more than him being like this. They basically make him like the chosen one in the next games. Like he's so special because he's the last one. I do like him more as just a simple guy fixing his ship, working on stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah. I feel
like the games are amazing.
Yeah, because the gameplay makes up for anything they could really do with the story. Honestly, but yeah, I feel like it definitely gave Ratchet more of like a something else to think about with his character and stuff like that. It made him a little bit more complex.
In Rift Apart, there's some good storytelling.
Yeah,
with Ratchet.
I'm hearing nothing but good things from Rift Apart, so I can't wait to play that. I can't wait to play it. We'll do a full spoiler cast on that.
Oh yeah, dude! I'm excited to.
Oh yeah.
To talk about it with you.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Maybe I can just go to my friend's house and play his copy, just like when he's working.
Does he have it? Somebody close to you?
Yeah. I think they just got it.
Go to his house right now. In this video, go break into his home and play it. It's so good. So, dude, I know we'll get to it, but right now, I have it. It's third on my list all time of Ratchet and Clank games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
so it's like it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm starting. I think I know my top 3 right now off the top of my head. But yeah, Tools of Destruction, great game. I love how it is just more Ratchet and Clank, really. PS3, next generation of Ratchet and Clank. The levels have more detail. It looks more polished. More bolts than ever on screen. Just great all around. Insomniac single player game. I don't think there was any multiplayer on this. Yeah.
Great reintroduction to Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, a great introduction to anybody to the series. And then the game after that is Quest for Booty, which is more like a DLC game they released because they didn't want people to wait too long for A Crack of Time, which came out 2 years after Tools of Destruction. So back then 2 years was a long time for people to wait. So they released Quest for Booty in 2008. I didn't play Quest for Booty till after I played A Crack of Time because I didn't even know it existed. It was like one of those things they just released on the PlayStation Store without telling anybody, really. And it is just a DLC story. You fight space pirates that were introduced in Tools of Destruction. It's cool. It's a little like pirate themed Ratchet and Clank one. And when you just play Ratchet, there's no Clank. You do a little platforming, and you collect some bolts. Very short game. I think it's like less than 4 hours if you want to get through it.
Yeah, that's a 4 hours is an average sitting for me. I play 4 or 5 hours Ratchet and Clank at a time.
And you could definitely
it's hard to stop.
You could definitely beat it in one sitting for sure. Because it does have that addicting quality to it that every Ratchet and Clank game has. I think it's solid. It runs well. I like the pirate thing. That's all I can say about that game. I like the pirates. I think they're funny. And I think they bring it back in Rift Apart, right? The pirates. I could have swore there was a logo I was looking at.
They do.
Yeah, can't wait.
Like dude, there's the photo mode. You can go to the photo mode and you can zoom in really, really far onto people's skin and stuff, and just the reflective quality of the ray tracing on every the buzz blades have ray tracing on the blades if you do go into photo mode, and it's just so much detail.
Wow, man,
beautiful.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But let's keep going with the series here because we've been talking on a while and we're only halfway through the games. We're only halfway through the games, buddy. But
there's not much to say about Rift Apart. Can't say a lot about that one.
But Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack of Time was the next game in 2009. And I want to say this game changed my life. You know what I'm saying? This game is a fucking masterpiece, all right? I don't think I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for this game. It is my favorite.
Explain yourself.
Game. My favorite Ratchet and Clank game of all time. I love every new mechanic they introduced in this. From flying around to every individual planet, even the individual moons that you land on, and you got circle the little moons. It was it was everything I ever dreamed of a Ratchet and Clank game being when I was playing the original games. and it just felt so big. Now, going back to it now, it probably isn't as big as I remember, but like first time playing it, it felt like you had this huge galaxy to explore, and you literally got in your ship and flew to the planets. And you remember playing the first game, you would just see the cutscene, you would see the little loading screen where he's flying to the planet, right? And then crack of time, you actually fly to the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff I always wanted in a Ratchet and Clank game. And I got tons of it in a crack of time. The arena was dope in a crack of time. The Captain Quark arcade missions that were in here. The Insomniac Museum I thought was the best too. I love all the weapons in the game. I spam the Groovatron, of course. Of course we all spam the Groovatron. I think
fantastic gun.
Yeah, I know. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, I think I spammed the fuck out of this game, man. I do love Dr. Nefarious. I love the Clank missions are my favorite too out of the series. Because they do make you think a little bit in the end with the last couple, like what you're gonna do. But I love the whole storyline too. This is one of the games that almost, I'm not gonna say almost because that's a lie. I did cry in the end of this game. I shed a bunch of tears, probably because I was a freshman or something in high school, and I was a little bitch. But I was when Ratchet. All right, spoilers for anybody who hasn't played this game. There's a part where the guy who's mentoring Ratchet kills him in the end, and you have to get Clank to get to the clock, the universe clock, and reset time to bring Ratchet back. And like that moment where Ratchet died, I thought that was like for real right there. I thought they killed Ratchet like for real. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean it's a great ending, emotional ending.
And I'm kicking myself because I'm forgetting the mentor, the father figure for Ratchet.
It wasn't his uncle, but it was like one of his dad's like
dad's friends,
like commander soldier guys.
Oh yeah.
But dude, while you're looking, I'll say fantastic game. I have it 1, 2, 3. I have it 4th on my list, right below Rift Apart. Mm-hmm. And I think that they might be even. I think A Crack in Time is amazing. I like the way that Ratchet's armor looked, the way that the game played, to the way that like the movement, they nailed it, the way that like the sound quality of the guns was fantastic. The hover boots, the whole story about like going back and changing time, then you go back to it, the level would be different. The end boss was nefarious. Then you got to fight the uncle guy. The Clank stuff I think was probably the best and most challenging. And I remember when I was playing this game, specifically, I would eat Jolly Rancher Chews, like Jolly Ranchers but Chewies. I would eat those like bags of them, give myself pre-diabetes, and I would just play the game. Now, every time I think about this game, I think about Jolly Rancher Chews, dude. It's like such a nostalgic feeling. This game, it has this intangible feeling to it. Just the way that the level design is, that it's almost perfect. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic on so many different levels. I felt like it was a more like personal story for like Ratchet and stuff like that. Yeah, because one of the first lines from General Alistair Azimuth, I forget if that's how you say his last name. But like one of his first lines was, "You and me, my dear boy, you look just like your father." There's something about the whole father-son dynamic in the game between General Alistair and Ratchet, like that really hits home for some reason. And then when you get to the end and like Alistair goes crazy, tries to fucking reset time to get all the Lombaxes back and stuff like that. You have a whole boss fight with him, and that's actually the last boss fight of the game. You think Dr. Nefarious is the last boss fight, but then you get to Alistair and stuff like that, and it's one of the most emotional boss fights I think in the whole series, because the whole game, this guy you think is your ally, you think he's like your big mentor and stuff like that. And he is when you're fighting him, and Ratchet's like screaming out to him. It's like, "Stop it, Alistair! This isn't you!" Like the whole time. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, and eventually, at the end of the fight, Alistair does realize the error of his ways, and he sacrifices himself to reset the clock and everything, to put it back to normal. He dies, leaving Ratchet the last Lombax again. And then I don't know if you remember the final shot of the game. Like Clank is going to stay at the clock, and then Ratchet gets in his ship. He's all sad because Clank's not, there. And then Clank hops into the ship, and they take off on another adventure. And that was just such a great moment at the end of the series. A lot of people will give the future series shit for some of the storytelling, but I think the way they wrapped it up with the crack in time was so satisfying for me, at least.
Yeah, and the gameplay of like the actual element of like freezing stuff in time and like platforming on it, like the gameplay is just magnificent in that game. Mm-hmm. Fantastic game. Gameplay. My fourth favorite.
Your fourth favorite,
and it's like the gameplay. Most of the gameplay of all these games are better than the original Ratchet and Clank, but because of what it did, it was the first one. It introduced all these characters like Skid McMarx, Quark, Ratchet Clank. I put it higher than Crack in Time, but A Crack in Time is a better game than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, as far as like technicals, as we were talking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels so much better in A Crack in Time compared to like the very first game and stuff like that. Because I don't know if you know this, but the PS3 version of A Crack in Time runs at 60 frames per second. I don't know if you know that. That was like a big deal.
I don't really pay attention to frames in games.
But that was a big deal because before, I think every Ratchet game was like at 30 frames or something like that. So that was a big deal for it. The bolts, the bolts didn't lag the screen that much.
Yeah.
But still, my favorite in the series. Great game. 2008.
Man, great game. Great memories.
But then this gets to the dark period of the Ratchet and Clank series, as I call it. It was a very dark period because they lost their way. I don't know what drove them to do this. Maybe they were getting bored with the series formula, because the next game in 2011 was All for One, which wasn't really a Ratchet and Clank game at all. It was a 4-player co-op game that had very little story and completely different character designs for all the characters. They all looked wildly different than they had in any other game. At least to me, I don't know about you, but Captain Quark, I didn't like how they had his huge chest, even twice as big now, and some weird.
They redesigned all of them to look more cartoony.
Yeah. I didn't like that direction they were going. They were trying to appeal to a younger crowd, but once again, this is a part of the franchise where they went away from what made the games great. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had all these games they had before All for One with a very similar formula. And then all of a sudden you want to change it and make a completely different game. And it let me down a lot because of that. I still played through it and beat it, but I never went back to it and replayed it because of this, just the way the gameplay was. It just didn't feel like Ratchet and Clank. But what do you think about All for One?
Yeah, I played it once or twice. The demo in Walmart or Target. Never rented it, never played it. Actually had no interest in it because I like the core. I understand why they did it. They've had 9 or 10 games with the same old stuff. They wanted to try something different, but no. Give me the core formula. This was nothing, not for me. Nothing was interesting about this. I didn't like it's already a cartoony game and they made them even more cartoony looking. Just no. This game is not for me. No thanks.
I completely understand that. I don't know why. I don't know who was in Insomniac Games that suggested this, but hopefully they're not working there anymore. Hopefully. A year later, they released another game that's not a mainline Ratchet game, and it doesn't really have the same formula, and that's a Full Frontal Assault. Now, this game was a castle defense game, and you use your hover boots to get around this map, and you defend areas. You defend points from enemies, and that's the game. It's 4 hours long. It does have a story I think is better than All for One, but it's nothing like Crack in Time. You know what I'm saying? It's not nearly on that level of a fully polished Ratchet game, even stuff like Up Your Arsenal, Going Commando are better games than Full Frontal Assault, because Full Frontal Assault is just focused on this one gameplay element, which is defending points. It's castle defense. That's all you're doing. Yeah, I played it once, completely forgot about it, never went back to it, and yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I never played it. Never had any interest. Never will.
Yes, I think I do have it somewhere back there.
Burn it.
Burn it. No. Nah, man. I mean, that's collectible. That's a collectible.
Oh yeah.
It's really worth a lot of money. That's to somebody that's a big Ratchet and Clank fan. Not much to say about that one. 2013, though, the very next year, they do go back to what made the series Ratchet and Clank with Into the Nexus. This is, pretty much a Ratchet and Clank game. You got all your basic elements are back again for this specific game. That's only like another short game. Like we're talking 4 to 6 hours maybe, max, not even, And it's supposed to be an epilogue chapter to the Future series. What happened after a crack of time. It's Into the Nexus in 2013. But so that's a big gap. Crack of Time came out in 2009, and then it was Into the Nexus like almost 4 years later. 4 years later,
And it's like you waited 4 years and you didn't even get a full game.
Exactly. Because they were wasting so much time making games like All for One and Full Frontal Assault. And then they thought, all right, let's just make another Ratchet game. They just wasted so much time on these other games. Once again, Insomniac Games made all these games. By this point in time, Insomniac is actually a pretty sizable studio. So they have a side team working on Ratchet games, and they have another team like working on Spider-Man games right now. So it's not like the whole company is focused on making Ratchet games anymore. It is just like one sect of the company. But yeah, I mean, Into the Nexus, it's a fine game. If you played the Future series, you probably should play it because it's just a little bit of an epilogue chapter on that. Neat little game. It's not.
Yeah, like I said, I bought it. My dad ended up playing it. I played 2 hours and I just watched him play it, and I just never really played it myself. But for what I played, I like the Clink puzzles in this one, like the side-scrolling thing where you go up and down. I liked some of the elements they added with where you could jump from platform to platform, like in space. It introduced that with like the mag boots.
Oh yeah.
Lots of purple colors. I only played 2 hours of it, but it was a solid game for what I played.
There was no memorable guns in that game. They pretty much went pretty traditional with the guns, and it was the last game on PS3. So that was like the PS3 generation. They say it says 5 games, no 4, no 6. There's 6 games here on PS3 for Ratchet and Clank, and there was another 6 on PS2. Yeah, the PSP games were on PS2. So there was another 6 on PS2. And on PS4, they only had one fucking Ratchet game, which was fucking the remake. And that was kind of a letdown for me. I'm like, well, how did we only get one Ratchet Clank game for PS4? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
New generation, a high-tech generation. You expect there to be, series for Ratchet there, but only one game, a remake of the first game, came out 2016, 3 years after Into the Nexus. So, they had time to make this game. I'm skipping over the Before the Nexus thing because that's an iOS game. That doesn't really do much. I think you can actually sync it up to Into the Nexus and it gives you some unlockable, but other than that, it's kind of pointless. But yeah. So the next main game was Ratchet and Clank 2016 remake. What are your thoughts on it? Because I got some varied thoughts on this game.
You know what, dude? This game gets too much hate.
It does get a lot of
hate.
It
does.
Yeah.
I have it ranked above Tools of Destruction for me. Because, yes, it was a cash grab tie into the movie, which wasn't great. And the cut scenes were like movie scenes. So it was sold to us as a remake of the first game. Then we get there, Ratchet's completely different. Him and Clank have no chemistry. Like you don't do you see them meet? Yeah, you kind of see them meet. I don't even remember. Yeah, I've played it 3 times. Yeah. Do you see them meet?
Ratchet and Clank? Yeah.
Yeah.
The ship crashes, right? It's the same thing, only they instantly become friends.
You don't feel it. Like there's no like it's like, hey, I'm Clank or whatever. Yeah. Just there wasn't that chemistry, the I don't like you, and then we go through a mission, go through this whole journey together. Yeah. But this is a game where I can take away the story and the gameplay is fantastic, phenomenal. They perfected the gameplay. The guns were fantastic. They brought back a couple classics. They introduced a lot of good guns, a lot of new good guns, a couple rehash levels, a couple new levels. Like, take away the garbage story, and I think that the actual gameplay of the game is phenomenal. And it's so replayable. I've played it 4 times, and I think gameplay-wise, it's an amazing game. But when you put the story in it from what you expect from Ratchet & Clank and what we were sold, I can see why people were really disappointed.
Yeah, and I remember the tagline for this game was like, the game based off the movie that's based off the game.
Yeah.
Which a funny tagline, but still, yeah, they tied it into the movie that came out the same year, and all the major cutscenes in the game were straight up scenes from the movie, and I just feel like they made a lot of mistakes with the movie. They tried to make it too, I won't say PC, but mainstream. You know what I'm saying? They made it too kid friendly. I think they overcorrected because, you know, there's a lot of adult themes in the early games and stuff like that probably aren't appropriate for little kids. But I think they overcorrected with this remake of Ratchet and Clank. Like, there's this popular video on YouTube called "How Ratchet and Clank Lost Its Edge." And,
yep, I have watched that video.
Watch. I think most people that like Ratchet and Clank probably watched that too.
Yep.
And I don't agree with everything that guy says, but there is a feeling that there is an edge that's lost about this fucking game. There's nothing adult about the game. Even the plumber, when you see the plumber in this remake game, he's all like, "Oh, hi, I'll help you fix your ship." In the original game, he's like, "All right, wise ass." You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a completely different mood about even the plumber in this game.
Like, dude, all like Skid McMarks and his manager, the plumber, like they're all very stiff.
Yeah.
And like they don't really have the personality they had.
Yeah.
I remember the plumber even makes a joke. He's like, "I'll see you next time," like as an end joke, like I'll be in the next one. Like they're even admitting that they're just being lazy. Yeah. And like the music was like just generic superhero music. Like Ratchet is just a fanboy of the galactic. What are they called? The Galactic Rangers.
Yep.
Like he didn't have the same attitude. It was really off. It felt really forced.
Yeah, I think another word would be safe. Like there's a lot of safe decisions they made.
Yeah, what was Drek's plan in the new one? Did he want to put the planets together?
Yeah, putting the planets together to make a new planet that he can again make a new factory on that's going to pollute it, and he's just going to do that cycle over and over, right?
Well, like in this game, it didn't feel like in the old game, like it really felt like a threat, and it was a commentary on colonizing and capitalism. Like this game didn't have that.
No,
like he was more just like a kooky alien who was like, "You got to stop him."
Yeah, and it just ends up being a henchman for like Dr. Nefarious, really. Like he's just like a little side character, and Dr. Nefarious is actually the bad guy. That's the major thing they retcon about the whole series and stuff like that, is that like Dr. Nefarious is intimately involved in the first adventure of Ratchet and Clank.
And he's just a human in this one, right?
Yeah, he's still like
he's not a robot yet.
Yeah, he's not a robot yet.
Yeah.
Which was I like the whole origin of Dr. Nefarious and stuff. I feel like that's probably the better stuff that's in this game, is Captain Quark and Dr. Nefarious, like their history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I think they did in the original trilogy. I want to say there is a connection there.
Yeah, I mean, in the original trilogy, like when you play those games, it's said that like Quark was responsible for like dropping him in the acid and making him a robot.
Yeah, he was responsible for turning Dr. Nefarious into a robot. And I like that they go into that more in this game. But yeah, Ratchet just feels way too squeaky clean in this game. Like he's nothing offensive. You know what I'm saying? Nothing even remotely offensive about anything.
Yep.
Which I feel like it could have used a little bit of that.
And dude, the Clank parts where you're running away from that big robot.
Dude, that's just annoying.
That was a chore to get through, honestly. That was one of the worst Clank parts. Like every time that would happen, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I gotta grind through this."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I went for the platinum, got all the trophies in this game, and I had to play through the game like almost 6 times. And like those Clank parts were like the most tedious parts that I was just trying to rush through. And they were the slowest parts too. I felt like I was getting through the Ratchet parts a lot faster than that. But yeah, I mean, I had to play the game multiple times because the Groovatron trophy was glitched. Some people might have experienced that, where you have to play the whole game beginning to end with the Groovatron and use it on every enemy. If you don't, it won't pop. And I had to do it like 2-3 times. It was a nightmare. Definitely not my favorite of the series. But yeah, I mean, it still has all the basic gameplay mechanics. My favorite planet was like that lava one where you got the jetpack and you're flying around. And that one felt like a lot of fun. Very open and stuff like that. I wonder if we're going to get a Ratchet Clank where that's every level. It's just this big open level, every single one. But yeah, are those levels in Rift Apart? The big open lava levels where you have a jetpack flying around, stuff like that?
there is one. So like the crystal collecting level, the brain collecting level.
Yeah.
There's one level that's very big, and like you just use your jet boots the whole time. It's very nice, and you unlock certain things, but it's not, you don't really collect things to sell them. So it's kind of less of that. But there's one level that's like huge.
But yeah, I wonder if that will ever be a Ratchet game where they just have these giant levels. Like every level is just like this giant level collect-a-thon thing.
I mean, I'm hoping that in the future, like they have more open world levels, like just a full open world Ratchet and Clank game.
Because by far that was my favorite level in this Ratchet game, was the big brain level.
Dude, that was a beautiful level.
Yeah.
The whole jetpack dynamic of it, like the way you get to use the jetpack in the final fight, like it was very nice, very tight gameplay. And that dude collecting those brains, the design of that level, I love that level.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most fun I had gameplay-wise. It's a Ratchet game. But yeah, lots of little problems with the story that really let me down with that. It kind of puts a damper on the game. The only thing I can kind of explain away everything is that Captain Quark is narrating the game. So he's an unreliable narrator. So maybe what you're seeing in the game is just his interpretation of what the first game was, you know? That's the only thing that can explain it away for me.
Yeah, you're trying hard because it's very lazy. Like some parts, like you can tell, like the guy said in that video, there are so many times where Captain Quark is like telling you what to do, like you're a little baby.
Yeah.
He's like, Ratchet needs to go underwater.
Of
and
course,
it's like Ratchet needs to go buy this new gun.
Yeah.
What's Ratchet gonna do? It's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah. Ratchet,
like, stop talking so much
for a new gun.
Yeah, like it felt like they were kind of holding your hand, and it was a reintroduction to Ratchet and Clank for like 10-year-olds.
Yeah,
like dude, make the game, like the people who played Ratchet and Clank are now our age, like 25, 30, 35.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the little kids can still play Rift Apart, but it has that perfect balance for people like us who have been playing it for almost 20 years now.
That's awesome.
I can't believe it's almost 20 years old.
I know. We're very old. We're very old. We're getting old.
Dude, I think for the 20th anniversary, I think they're working on a remaster of the trilogy for the PS4, PS5. I hope they're going to do something for the 20th.
They better. Yeah, the 20th anniversary is next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. They did just make Rift Apart, so I wonder if they had like Blue Point Games making the HD or 4K versions of the original trilogy. That'd be dope. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for Ratchet and Clank 2016. The only one on PS4. Just trying to reintroduce the series for a younger audience, which I don't really get, like you said, because anybody that played the game is like in their late 20s, early 30s, stuff like that. But even when we were kids, we didn't need them holding our hands making that original game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of just had to figure it out as you're playing it. It gave you like little hints in like the first chapter, but that was about it. Like the first level, it gave you some hints about the health, but that was it.
Yeah, like there were side little places where you could get underwater, and oh my gosh, there are like 30 crates underwater. Like they just didn't tell you.
Yeah.
You had to. It implored kids to explore.
Mm.
Like if you turn the camera and just look behind you, whoa, there's a whole other path to go on. It didn't tell you to do that. You just did it.
You just had to figure it out. And like this new one, it just feels very safe. And you know, I feel like they just were trying to tie it into the movie and stuff as well. It was just a clusterfuck, you know, like they were trying to do too many things at the same time. Getting this whole movie made.
Dude, with all that said, it's still a really good game.
Oh yeah, gameplay.
Like, it's so fun.
Insomniac comes through. Like Insomniac comes through on the gameplay every time. But yeah, I'm sure if they had it from the ground up to make whatever story they want, that didn't have to tie into anything, I'm sure it would have came out different. And it probably would have been a little better.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was the last one until Rift Apart. Now, I haven't played Rift Apart yet, but everyone says it's a fucking masterpiece, which gets me excited. And it's one of the first games on PlayStation 5 too, which gets me excited that they're going to make more Ratchet and Clanks for PS5. This isn't going to be like the one and done like PS4, right? And
it's
yeah, you talk about it because you played a little bit. Try to be spoiler free though.
No spoilers at all.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise is that Rivet, I like her just as much as Ratchet. She's really good in this game, and if like you play some missions as her, some missions as Ratchet, and I think it's more of her game, honestly. Like, I think you play a little more as her. Because they're trying to get you to be introduced to her. But dude, there's some guns in this game that are fantastic. There's 1 or 2 guns that return that I was very surprised at. It's got all the classic elements. It's got the arena. It's got some new villains. It's got some old villains. It's got some different takes on different universe things. Basically no load times. It's like 1 second. The whole like going through a portal into another dimension, it doesn't play in as much as you would think it would. Like, it's more set pieces, but like that whole element, I'm trying not to like give anything away at all. But like, dude, the adaptive triggers, the way that the guns feel with the controller are fantastic. And yeah, I think there's one character that I was disappointed with, and I don't think the ending was perfect. I think it was a little rushed. Maybe give me a few more minutes for the characters to breathe a little more. But overall, I mean, it's a solid 9.5 out of 10. Like, it is a top tier Ratchet and Clank game. It's right behind Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal for me. Fantastic game. I understand if people say it's a masterpiece. It is just a fucking phenomenal game. Some of the best hands-on gameplay of any game ever. Like, just one of the funnest games ever.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. And when I look at the Metacritic score of it, trying to pull it up right now, it's one of the highest rated PS5 games right now.
It is. Yeah. It is beautiful. The ray tracing, the sunlight, the surfaces, just the physics when you hit a box, the amount of shards and particle pieces, and like, dude, explosions. When you have like shoot a rocket and it explodes, the fireball and the smoke looks so realistic. There are so many particle effects, and dude, I'm not even kidding. The game didn't lag or drop frames one time my entire 15-hour experience. Not one single time did it drop frames.
Nice.
So like, it ran, at least for me, it ran beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, it has 88 on Metacritic right now, so very high score. Especially for like 120 reviews it has and stuff like that. And user scores a 9 out of 10. Lots of people love it. I can't wait to play it. I think the people say the time length of the game is like 15 hours.
Yep.
You know,
I'd say that's about right.
And I feel like that is the perfect length for like a Ratchet game. At least all the older games were around that same length. Like 15 hours was about what those old games were. And
yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah, I think A Crack at Time was probably like, it had to be the longer one because you had to go all these different moons and stuff like that. It just took more time. I can't wait to play it. You know, I only hear good things about it. The only thing that I was worried about was the Rivet character, whoever her name is, because the whole series, I don't think you ever play with anybody else but Ratchet or Clank. I think you only play with Ratchet and like all of them, or Clank.
Yeah, I mean, you disguise yourself as Quark in the 2016 game, but you don't actually play as him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rivet, because I was worried, dude. I was like, okay, they're introducing another, like, I don't care if she's a woman.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is Ratchet and Clank. I don't care if it's a woman, if it's another dude, if it's a robot. Like, I don't want anybody else but Ratchet and Clank.
That character better be really good if you're going to introduce a new character, you know?
she's good.
Yeah.
She's good, and there's a new, like, the dynamic where you can, like, the dodge button where you can, like, shift through time or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool, like, every time you do it, it's satisfying.
Nice.
But dude, Rivet is good. I wouldn't say she's quite as good as Ratchet, but I was very surprised.
Good. That's excellent. I look forward to playing it. I'd probably find a way to play it off my friend's console.
Probably has the best, like, emotion and story other than the original. I think it's better than Crack in Time's emotion. I think A Crack in Time has a better ending than this game. Yeah. But overall, this game has a solid story.
We're nearing the end of this Nostalgia Fuel podcast, so
I mean, I hope it goes on, because like the people who are developing the ones now, in 20 years they're going to move on. Some of them might pass away, they might retire, like, so I hope that it keeps on going, but I don't see it going another more than 10, 15 years. But I hope it does, because there's always going to be, just for the end of time, just new generations of kids and teenagers who have never played a Ratchet and Clank game. Just keep, I don't care, dude. Keep giving me this formula until I'm dead for the next 60 years. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just switch it up every time. Come up with new guns, a new story, but just that core gameplay, I'll take a new Ratchet and Clank game every 3-4 years.
Exactly.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me too. I totally love the formula enough for that. And hopefully they don't do a whole like God of War thing where they have to make Ratchet like, this fucking like
deconstruct Ratchet.
Deconstruct him, give him a completely different gameplay mechanics, give him a shield, put him on the defense.
Yeah.
God no. I mean, that's probably the one thing about the God of War series. I miss the hack and slash scene, of the old games, but I do still love the new game. But like, there's a formula that they completely went away from, and I hope they don't do that with Ratchet and Clank. It doesn't seem like they will. It seems like they tried that, back in 2011 and 12 with like All for One and Full Frontal Assault. They tried to get away from the gameplay formula, and it didn't work. And
it hurt them.
Yeah,
because people like us who love the games didn't buy it, or if we did buy it, we returned it.
Yeah, and it didn't get new people. Can't wait for more Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next game already. I'm excited.
Yeah, maybe that's why they made it that certain length. They're trying to make a new series of games here, a new trilogy for PS5.
Dude, I'm pumped. It's great, man.
I know.
And I'm on my second playthrough, and I haven't even upgraded all the guns yet, but it's so good. Yeah. It's so good.
All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thanks to everybody for joining. We've been on a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through every Ratchet game. I hope everyone's looking forward to the next Ratchet game. Hope everyone has fun playing Ripped Apart. And we'll see you all later. Bye-bye for now.
Peace out.